My name is Dr. Joseph Munyua. Today we are dealing with the term data. Accurate and systematic data collection is critical to conducting research. In research, the tools of the data collection include questionnaire, focus group discussion, interview, and so on. In this lecture, we are seeking to explain the meaning of the term data. In research, in its strict sense, the term data means the relevant information that the researchers collect or gather from their respective selected samples. Essentially, the term data means the information that, after its collection, is eventually analyzed and interpreted in order to answer the research questions, test the research hypothesis, meet the research objectives, and in the end, solve the research problem. Undeniably, any research that relies on irrelevant collected data becomes unreliable because it generates invalid results. Towards attaining a further understanding of this realm of the term data, let us draw our attention to the following types of data. Number 1, primary data. In a word, the term primary data means the relevant information or the appropriate data that the researcher collects from the field. Therefore, primary data is derived from field work in order to answer the research questions, test the research hypothesis, meet the research objectives, and solve the research problem. Nonetheless, it is worthy to mention that any data that is derived from a particular sacred scripture is put in this category of primary data. Number 2, secondary data. In a nutshell, the term secondary data denotes the information which the researcher gathers from the available libraries. Therefore, secondary data is derived from relevant encyclopedias, articles, books, journals, book reviews, published researches, internet sources, and so forth. Note that, just like primary data, secondary data is aimed at answering the research questions, testing the research hypothesis, meeting the research objectives, and solving the research problem. Number 3, quantitative data. In essence, the term quantitative data means the data that has numerical characteristics. Therefore, this kind of data can also be called numerical data because it can be calculated, weighed, measured, counted, and so forth. Typically, quantitative data can be quantified. Along these lines, any research that calls for quantitative data is known as a quantitative study. Note that quantitative data can be categorized as either primary data or secondary data. Number 4, qualitative data. Unlike quantitative data, qualitative data does not have numerical characteristics. This kind of data is not numerical because it is unquantifiable. Therefore, qualitative data cannot be measured, weighed, calculated, counted, and so on. In a word, therefore, qualitative data exists in the form of words and phrases. Note that any research that requires qualitative data is known as a qualitative study. At this point, it is important to note that any research that requires both quantitative data and qualitative data is called a mixed study. Again, it is worthy to mention that qualitative data can be categorized as either primary data or secondary data. Thanks for your time. Subscribe to this academic YouTube channel. Bye for now.